So every startup that's doing anything remotely innovative is inherently risky because there are a lot of smart people in the world and there are a lot of smart companies in the world. So I think it's wrong to think that like large companies are not innovative or are somehow like not as open to change as others, because there are really smart people that work at these companies. And so there's probably no idea that you'll have that someone else, probably someone at one of these giant companies, hasn't already had. The difference between you as a startup founder, as an employee at a young startup, and them is that you said, I think that's a good idea. I think we should do that. Whereas they said, no way, like that'll never work, or that's a dumb idea, or it's like, it's not time for that. So that's really the difference, is that you decided, like, where everyone else said no, you said yes. And so that means, just by its very nature, that you're going to be faced with some suboptimal sets of choices in your decision making, because there's no sort of prescriptive path to startup success. And that's very weird for people. It was kind of weird for me. So, you go through high school, you do these things, that will like make you like a successful high school student. Same thing in college, kind of the same thing in graduate school. But with a startup, there is no formula that you can follow that will guarantee you success. And oftentimes that means that you're faced with a set of decisions and you have option A and B, and what you really want is option C, but option C doesn't exist. And so it's really valuable to have someone who could say, like, listen, both of these options are bad, but which one is the least bad? Like, and to be okay with to have someone tell you that it's okay to take a path that isn't great, but that you just sort of have to, it's sort of the reality of the situation, that you have to take this sort of like route that is not optimal. So that's one of the really valuable things about having a co-founder, just someone who can sort of share that burden with you. And similarly, there's a time, and if any of you are thinking about or have started companies and you're lucky enough to have a good co-founder, I promise you will have this interaction where you will go to your co-founder and you will say, we are screwed. Like, for reasons X, Y, and Z, we are totally screwed, and like, the sky is falling, and like, this is it for us. And they have one job in that situation, is to say, it's going to be all right, don't worry about it, like, here are the things that we're going to do, like, just like, we'll get through this. Because that happens a lot. And all these things that seem like, dire situations end up not being, but when you're so invested in the company yourself, it really feels like everything is a crisis, especially early on. So again, your job as a co-founder is to say, it's going to be all right.